Hello, everyone. Welcome to another edition of Lupus Talks. I'm Ed Peterson, the actual program director of this show. I just wanted to touch bases and let everybody know this is something we have been doing. Now we are in the ending the month of April. Wow. Getting ready for the month of May, which is Lupus Awareness Month. And we're going to have a whole lot to talk about on Lupus Talks, and as well as what Dr. Calvini Williams is going to be sharing today from Lupus in Nevada. If you want to support the work and support what she does, you want to go to the website at lupusofnevada.org, and you can basically also put in your comments too. Any questions or inquiries that you may have that she may be able to address and assist you on. And it's all about building up our communities, building up our lifestyles, and basically helping each other. I like to use what is called the PHP effect, people helping people. And that is something that we would love to do and that we will continue to do as we continue to grow on this show. So without further ado, I'm going to let Dr. Williams take over and speak. Dr. Williams?
Thank you. Thank you, Ed. Again, I thank you for all you've done since 2014. And I just thank God for giving me a blessing like you. So I want to
You
say
are
that.
no problem. Thank
Um,
you.
I want to start off with, you know me, Matthew 5, 6, and 8, which says, "Blessed are they that do hunger and thirst after righteousness, for they shall be filled. Blessed are the merciful, for they shall obtain mercy. Blessed are the pure in heart, for they shall see God." And that's Matthew chapter 5, verse 6 and 8. That's always important because this disease is a dark disease. It's very dark. An example of that darkness that I had last Friday, I went through a breast exam, and I just thought it was routine. Then they called me back. They wrote me, but they did call me and said, "We need to see you." Well, that's kind of scary. That's very scary, especially for women. And I know men get breast cancer too, but women just, oh my goodness. Nobody in the family had breast cancer, none of this, none of that. But all of a sudden, I was faced with a challenge in my life. I was faced with it. I'm not asking for pity. I'm just telling you how I was faced with it and how it turned my life upside down and had me to think about you have to have faith. So when I went in there for the second time, I was in there with a bunch of women in one of the breast clinics here in Las Vegas, Nevada. And what's so beautiful about that, I have never walked into a place, I'm going to tell you, not even church, where all these women, some men, were in there and they were so, it was just, I'm going to tell you right, it's like I was walking up to heaven. That's how blessed their spirits were. Everybody was kind. Everybody loved to talk to each other. Everyone was supporting each other. And that makes a difference, Now, what are you in here for? Nah, they thought they saw a spot on my breast, and so they want to take an exam. Then they want to take, that when you're pregnant, they do that oil on you, and everybody was laughing. Yeah, I know, we have it. But the outcome was the beauty of people. If you ever walk through a breast clinic, walk through a breast clinic. Take time to walk through there. You will see the beauty of women and how it was just serene. Words can't really explain it. It was just serene for me. So that prayer for me, Matthew 5, 6, and 8, it let me know that, you got to hang on to the word of God. You got to hang on, not the church, because the church is in your heart, and I'm not putting churches down, but it said, "Blessed are they that which do hunger and thirst for righteousness." And that's what we should be thirsting for, because our life is just but a vapor. We don't know what's going to happen. Next day we're here, we're laughing on the phone and whatever, then all of a sudden, wow, this happens. Well, I'm saying that to say this. we're getting ready to get in our World Lupus Month, and it's so important for us that have the disease, because that's the time for us to shine that whole month. We are going to be letting people know, voicing our opinions, voicing our thoughts. We're going to let everybody know what lupus means to us and what we hope it means to them. You know, I look at this and I was reading something. It says World Day Lupus is observed annually on May 10th. This is a day dedicated to raising awareness about lupus, a chronic autoimmune disease. Now, aspects of lupus are raising awareness, advocacy, support, making lupus visible. And that's what we do on our website. We make it visible. We've been doing that for 20 years. But as we go into this, I'm on Google and I'm going to go to the lupus fact sheet. And it's so important because it says May 10th, lupus is a global health problem that affects people of all nationalities, race, ethnicities, genders, age. Lupus can affect any part of the body in any way at any time. Don't just think, oh, lupus is in my system. It is an autoimmune disease, but don't you think it can whisper a whisper for cancer anywhere in your body, because it can, because it takes over those organs. It is often unpredictable, and it's life challenging. It's life challenging. It made me think this week, the weekend, and this week, wow. I mainly stayed to myself because I needed to think what the Lord was going to do in my life, because he gave me another breath. I actually had another breath on this earth. And that was so important. Not to say, oh, wow, I don't want to put any jinx on it or anything, but he saved me that day. He saved me that day, you know, so I can't say enough about him. But you need to look at the important facts. You need to know about lupus. Lupus is a serious and potential life-threatening autoimmune disease. Lupus can damage any organ or tissue of the skin, joints, and it can create a heart attack. It can attack that heart. I was having issues myself with not being able to move my arms. And I couldn't lift myself up. I just couldn't. I had to have help from my baby brother to get up. He put, not towels, but other comforters over under my arms, for my arms to be held up and elevated, because all of a sudden everything wanted to attack, everything. And I didn't know what was going on. When I got in the car, it was very difficult for me to turn the steering wheel. It was very difficult for me to get out of the car. The people that know me for 20 years around here, they knew something was up, because my demeanor and it wasn't there. You can read it off someone that smiles every day. How you doing? I tried to smile, but it was coming out like, okay, we got a problem here. So we need to be aware that we have people that love us. We need to be aware. Ed called me and he said, I just called, check on you. That's important to me. You know, when our own family doesn't do that for us, you know, our own family, our close family will do it, but you got some people out there that won't do anything. And I think that's important. It's good to hear from them, to say, how you doing? What's going on? You know, because you never know when that person is going to die. And you wanted to say one word to them, but you couldn't, because everything else was so busy in your life that you decided that was more important than the person that you won't be talking to for the rest of your life.
Exactly.
That person may have had a word. Hi, Dolores. That's our co-host, Dolores. That person may have had a word for us or something. But going back to these symptoms of lupus come and go. They change over time, making lupus challenging disease. When I was younger, I have all this. I didn't. I was more athletic, more this, more that, ready to get out and do something, ready to go to a restaurant, ready to go and see some friends sing songs or whatever and just listen to them. I was able to do that. I did that a lot with my cousin Dolores, and we had a good time just looking at people and talking to them. You know, people think when you get out at clubs, you're not just tapping the back end of your body. You're sitting down there talking to people, and people get in conversations with you. And I say this about the Word of God, about your health. That's where you can catch them at. You can catch them right there, and they get serious and want to talk to you more and more and more. But it's up to you to make that challenge and to make that difference. You know, when we talk about, I'm so glad they raised this up from what 1.5 to 2.5. They have now estimated 5 million people worldwide have lupus, and lupus can strike anyone at any age. 90% of the people living with lupus are women. Lupus develops often between 15 and 44. People of all races and ethnic groups can develop lupus. Now, I tell those of you who love to go overseas, be very careful. My dream vacation spot would be Africa, Ghana. Because they have the yellow fever there, I can't go because my autoimmune system may not be strong enough, and I would have to I can't just get on a plane without talking to my doctor because I'm making that choice of my life. You know, those bees fly around and you end up with yellow fever. Even though if you get the shots, you still don't know when your time is out. So I say that's very important, and we need to raise awareness about lupus. What is lupus? What is lupus in our family? Let's get in a conversation. You know, when May 10th comes around or before, you know how we have the family gatherings, popcorn, people want to look at a movie. That could be lupus movie day. You know, people don't have to look at a lupus program, but they can look at something, you know, that is entertaining for them. And that is important. Do things that your family can come in and see you, because they may not see you next year. Do those type of things. Don't try to separate yourself. You know, I'm not feeling good sometimes. I don't try to separate myself, even though it's me and my brother here. He'll come in my bedroom and we'll talk and laugh and look at YouTube and just crack up. Those are the good times in my life. So again, I have a lot more to talk about lupus, but I want Dolores to get on and share her input with what she researched and some input on this that I just got through talking about. Dolores.
Well, hello. Just thank you guys all for coming through. And that sorry it's a little late here. I had technical problems getting in, and that sorry behind the cameras today too. Not much will today, but we all talking about that. We got to show up somehow, huh? You know, even though at times that things happen, things that happen in our life, this like Dr. Williams was just saying that we 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 can't be in isolation or anything like that. We have to come and open up and be sociable, because the more you're sociable with people, the more you get better and better with your condition
Mm-hmm.
each day,
Mm-hmm.
because you're
Mm-hmm.
social. But when you keep yourself this behind in a shell, that's like being behind a mask. You're not allowing yourself to free yourself to be open.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
Mm-hmm.
always good to have family support. Sometimes you don't even have family that wouldn't support you, but you have some that will support you. You have good
Mm-hmm.
friends, a good support, because it's it's very important. That's just like, it's just like if you was having a tea party or something, right? You want to have some good people over to have tea, and you guys enjoy life. You enjoy life in your condition, as everybody goes through rough times. Like with me, I don't have lupus, but I do go through rough times with pain, and I have episodes with other things, but I'll just keep on doing what I need to do, because I have my trust and faith in God. So I just keep on doing what I need to do each day, because that's the best medicine. The best medicine is just to, keep on your journey, no matter
Mm-hmm.
how you feel, because you could be the biggest testimony to somebody who's going through that struggle, and they say, "Oh,
Mm-hmm.
I see her going. I'm gonna go like that too."
Mm-hmm.
And you could be the one to push the person up, to lift them up in their difficult times. And that's why it's always important that we should always have the tools that we need to comfort us through that time. Like if you enjoy like watching TV or movie, watch your movie. Enjoy reading, read some books, do a hobby. You could do a hobby or something. Maybe you're very talented. Use your talents and skills, and watch how you'll really blossom and become more healthier each day. Well, that's what I said. You'll blossom and become more healthier each
Give
day.
them to your friends
You
and
feel good.
family, like the ribbons. It's easy to make those ribbons, Lupus. Give them those purple ribbons and have them give it to their friends. If they want to make a donation on behalf of Lupus in Nevada, that's fine. But the purple ribbons are so important because they represent World Lupus Day. They represent that. We don't know what's going to happen with this medication that's out. Dolores, we talk about that. I'm always fighting. When they lobby, I have to either go up to Carson City or I'm on, my phone, because they want us to pay additional for our supplements, not supplements, but for our medication. And that's wrong. One year we get it for free, and the next year they want another $100. They want $100. A lot of people don't have that. A lot of people scared because they're cutting Medicaid off, cutting Medi-Cal off, they're cutting food stamps off. A lot of people need that for their kids. I know they have abused the system. I know they have. And I know they have to weed those individuals out. I know that too. I'm not saying give it to all. But what I am saying is do your research before you give it out to someone and see if they are valid enough to receive it. Isn't that right, Dolores?
Yes, correctly. That's very good to always to reach out with your resource.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Then you know what's going on in your lives, because you never know. You just never know. And your mind takes you back. I have a different outlook at lupus right now and at life. I really do, because I was saying, oh, I'm okay. I'll be 70 next year, whatever. But it opened my eyes to let me know, wait a minute, you can get, as my mom would say, you can get got. GOT. You can't get God. And, life doesn't always come out the way you want it to come out. It really doesn't. You have to take every day as a blessing, every day as encouraging. And that's one of the things, that I was going to say at the end, but I think I need to say it now before we do it. From Martin Luther King, he says, if I cannot do great things, I can do small things in a great way. That's Martin Luther King Jr. I thought that was so important. It touched my heart. A lot of us can't do great things, but we sure can do small things in a great way. So think about that, everyone. But this is not the end of the show. I just want to add that into Dolores' commentation.
Yeah, and exactly like because we all go through that life be life, and that's a saying that they be saying, because life do be life, and because things come into our lives, and we have no control over it. What happens in life, all we have to do is just continue to condition our mindsets, and if we condition our mindsets. And
Mm-hmm.
just really, just you have to just live through the moment. But
Mm-hmm.
but like I was saying, but don't live without isolation, because isolation
Mm-hmm.
can cause to be depression, and it could cause your condition to be worse. Because one thing, it's hurting you, and you don't want to
Mm-hmm.
hurt you. You want to heal you. And so,
Mm-hmm.
like, if you're a prayer warrior, really pray, because God will. He's a healer.
Yeah, this is a lifetime disease, that we do have, and people should understand that. I see her today, I'll see her tomorrow. No, you don't know that. You might see her laying up in the hospital or something like that, and that's just so important for people to understand that even with all diseases, okay, I'm gonna say all diseases. One day we're good, the next day we didn't know we had this in our body, we didn't know we had that, but we laid up in the hospital and they found something. And that is so important for us to understand, that we are all special to one another. We have a mission here on earth, and we need to complete that mission. And that's not going out, drugging up. That's not going out, getting drunk, having good days, having this. Let's not negate that we have responsibilities to those that love us. Yeah, our kids are grown. We'd love to see them more. I'd love to see my grandbaby more. But it is just what it is. I'll get to see her. But people have doctor's appointments. Like my baby brother said, I don't know if I can go down there with you to Palm Beach because I have a lot of doctor's appointments. And we can't get into our doctor's appointments for 4 months. And that's the way it is with so many people sick and everything, even mine. My next appointment from this week is not until August, and my blood work is not until August. So if I'm going to do anything, I better do it in between, around May before anything happens. And I can't go. So that's what's important to do. You got to do you. You got to respect your limits, and you got to respect your medical appointments. And don't just say, oh, I'm going to cancel this and I'll come back next time. No, you can't do that. You got to, especially when you get older, you got to think about what you have. Go ahead, Dolores.
Exactly. That's like boundary setting. You have to set your boundaries in your health life. Your journey, because it's very, very important that you set those boundaries. And sometimes you have to say no to some things because you don't feel good. But don't never say no to isolation. But it's okay. I mean, it's okay to just for a little bit, just to just to air out, but just don't air out too long. You want to just make sure that that you stay open for communication, and yes, and set your boundary comes to
boundaries.
It's very
your boundaries. See your doctors regularly. Know when a flare is coming, because we can tell. Know when a flare is coming. Get enough sleep and rest. If that means, like I do, I go to my room and I lay up in my bed, got it comfortable for me, got all my water. I drink that FIJI Fiji water. I'm advertising y'all. Y'all need to give us a donation. See? And so it's just so important. People call. You can say you want to answer. You can say not, but it's just so important for you to deal with. And then look at wellness seminars on your on the site with Lupus, because they do have that, because awareness matters. We have a lot of awareness situations on our website that can help too. We've got a book coming out. We've got Loving God While Living with Lupus. It's one of the older books, and it's a well-written book. You need to look at that. That's inspiration. We've got a children's book. Chris and Christina have lupus. That's very good for the kids. A lot of kids have lupus, and you can read it to your children at night, the bedtime story or daytime story. We have another one coming out is Revelation, and I think it's called, what is it? The Final Moments. I think The Final Moments. I had just written that one, and people they're scared of Revelations. And, that's a prophecy. We got to all be aware of that. You said reading Revelations is a blessing. So think about that, and just do a lot of puzzles. I do puzzles to keep my mind going because we get fog. I get moving in my house, walk around the house and walk around and walk around and walk around. You can get sun, but don't stay out there all day. So, Dolores, what do you do for exercise?
But what I do right now, I am physical therapy right now, so I'm doing this regular exercise. But usually, when I wasn't in physical therapy, I did walking, and I did some squats, just like my physical therapy had me do seat squats. But I did regular squats, but I do usually the walking and strength training. That's what I do too. Usually, but right now I'm healing, so they don't want me to do any realistic bands or anything quite out there. And then I'll be going to the pool. I'll be going to the pool soon.
Yeah, I know I have therapy coming up too. We also have to be aware of our mental health awareness, because a lot of us seem to think we don't have mental problems. I just say it's not mental, but it's anxiety and things that are just too much for us to handle. And that is an important, mental health is an important part of your overall awareness and wellness, I should say. It is the overall wellness, and that's so important. Yeah, because that's important in my life. If your mind is not straight and it's gone here and there and you can't get it back, just like a computer throwing water on it, you got a problem. You need someone to talk to, and we all do. I don't care how intelligent we are. The brightest of the brightest have had people to talk to go talk to, because your mind can explode up there in your head. It can just explode. This is happening, that's happening. I don't know how to deal with this. I got to pay this bill. I didn't know this bill was coming up. I didn't know that was coming up. It's a lot of things. That's called life. That is called life. And you have to depend on God to know that it's going to be all right. And don't forget to get your wellness exam. That wellness exam gives the doctors the opportunity to look at everything about you. I don't need a wellness exam now. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. He needs to know what's going on in your mind, like he did with me last week when I walked in there without the walker. And he said, oh, I see you not on the walker. I said, well, quite frankly, doctor, I thought I was going to have to pass out on your floor if you gave me a bad, if you gave me a bad review on my breast. I was just going to lay. I started laughing. I was just going to fall out because I couldn't take it. I said I couldn't take it. It's just too much for me, you know. And then he said, "Well, let me see you with your your walking." I said, "I will, because you've been falling. You've fallen 5 times in the last 3 months," which is true. It's true. So I have to be careful, because with that vertigo, you might hit the wall, go around, whatever. You don't know when it's going to happen, you know. So you have to take care of you. You have put a 5-pointer out, you know, what you like to do during it. Well, first of all, have you taken your First of all, have you prayed? Secondly, have you taken your medicine slowly? Don't gulp them down, and make sure that your surroundings are where when you get up out of bed, you're not tripping over things that you just threw off that night because you were so tired, or that evening. You got to be aware of your surroundings, you know. Don't take too many calls. Don't take them, because we've got people that wear us out, and I just won't take them. I just let the phone ring until I get my mind straight, my mental health straight, so I know my wellness is coming with me appreciating my body. So those are the things. So Lois, do you have any starter days of 5 things you do in the morning?
Well, first thing in the morning, now I got to exercise first thing in the morning.
Mm-hmm.
And then I have a daily do too. And I read the word. I make sure I read the word, and then I pray. That's daily. And then also in the afternoon, do more exercise.
Mm-hmm.
And I got 2 times a day with the therapy, a therapist, until I go to pool. But still, when I go to pool, I have to do both.
Mm-hmm.
And that's so I do that. So I have a daily routine, because then especially I take care of my mother too on top.
Mm-hmm.
And so that's it. That's all in the morning too. That's number one.
Mm-hmm.
But I do get into the prayer, the Bible studies, exercise.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just make sure I keep my mind just really in
Mm-hmm.
check.
Mm-hmm.
Just keep calm,
Mm-hmm.
and enjoy the morning. Enjoy what the God would say prayer. With, me and my mom and my sister, we all say prayer together.
Mm-hmm. And you also have to be reminded that even though our therapy is short-lived, we got to continue to do it, because our health insurance is not going to let us stay on there forever. You
Yeah,
know,
exactly.
and so we have to be able to do that, like the eating disorders. I have that at times. The sleeping disorders, I have that at times. I have to take a sleeping pill at night because I have insomnia and I can't go to sleep. I'm tossing and turning and tossing and turning, read my word, but still tossing and turning. And that is part of the disease. It's part of the disease. You just keep going and going because it affects your sleep, and the medications you take affect you. So you got to be aware of that. But you got to start learning how to do things. I know I'm going to start therapy soon, and I'm going to, have to continue that at home, you know. And like I
Yeah,
said, my shirt.
exactly. Very important. It's
Mm-hmm,
very important.
mm-hmm,
Just like my physical therapy said, it said it
mm-hmm,
won't do anything for you if you
yeah,
don't keep on continuing, even if you're
mm-hmm,
brave, because insurance is my insurance will last
mm-hmm,
me for 4 to 6 weeks, like
uh-huh.
that. You still gotta continue.
And also you have to, Dolores, think about this because you're off in the food. You also have to alter your diet to improve your mood. And I noticed that, when I told my brother the other day, I'm not in a good mood. I'm really not in a good mood. I have to stay closed up because I'm subject to break somebody's head. Break somebody's head. Here I am preaching the word, but I said, Lord, we get weak. Like the Lord said, scripture said, we get weak. Flesh gets weak and the spirit knows it. Because you get to the point, you get somebody messes, they'll send these bills out that you ain't never been in their clinic and they're going to fight with you on it. And you trying to say, what in the world? I got a call today, I don't know, Ed, but Dolores, about the OWN network, because they were trying to put me on that. I said, y'all got to get back with me in 3 months because I can't, that's that is, I'll just say a wonderful opportunity. I ain't gonna say it's not, but I got to get my ministry on and then I can think about that, talk to my executive producer and, think about what I want to do with OWN, and it's spiritual, but it's a wonderful opportunity. But I know where my limits are. I know, because first of all, I have to write the script, work with the producers, do this, do that, all of it. I'd have to do all that, the same thing that Ed does for Lupus in Nevada. I can't take on additional projects, and I'm trying to get these projects up and running. Like World Day Lupus is a major hit. That's a major hit. If you play it right, you have to advertise, send media things out, get to the governor, make sure we get that proclamation, but that media has to hit constantly, and I have to be online for the month, before May, and send stuff out. Plus, we're talking about having a virtual walk. So, that's something that Ed and I were talking about. Dolores, we were all talking about it. So it's upon us. So we got to get ready for all of this. So I only have one mind. I can't do multitasking. I used to when I was younger, but I have to make sure everything is written down and this is what I can do and this is what I can't do. And that's something, Dolores, I talked about some time ago. You know when to say no. Dolores,
Yeah,
you there?
exactly.
Yeah, know when to say no because that's when your mood comes up. And people expect things and don't do it. People call you and say, oh, can you do this? Like they did to me earlier today. I said, I'll talk to y'all in 3 months. Right now, I can't. I'm just getting over a major situation that happened to me last week. I got this, I got that. Even though our kids are grown, we still concern ourselves about them. Just all that. And it just was a wake-up call for me that do the things that are important in your life because these things will fade away. All the stuff we have in here, clothing, jewelry, hair, all that all fades away. When we go, somebody else is going to do what they want to do with it, and that's fine because they'll fade away soon.
Yeah, exactly.
I just want my soul to be clean, my spirit and everything, so I can have an opportunity to walk those pearly steps up there to see him. So that's where my diamonds and glitter and everything is up there with him, especially with this disease. Because you just don't know, what's going to happen. You just don't know. And Mother's Day is coming up. Y'all be very careful for those of us that have lost our mothers, because that's when the mood, the depression, people don't want to talk. Get on that phone, say hi to somebody. Because my mother passed on. I think about her all the time. When I feel the wind on me, I'm thinking that's her whispers in my ear saying it's going to be all right. And that's how I feel. She's whispering in my ear, it's going to be all right. You just got another step to take. Father's Day is the same thing. People have to be cognizant, even though they have their parents and one is gone and one's not. Don't be hurtful because people are hurtful. People are hurtful. When I'm out there shopping, they're hurtful. And I let them know, some people don't have their mothers and their fathers and their grandmas and all that. Some people just lost them. So we got to be aware of their feelings because it's important. It's a part of us. But it says, you're your brother's keeper. And that's what's important. You are your brother's keeper. You don't know. He might leave there. She might leave there and commit suicide because of something you said. So, Dolores, you have anything to add with that?
Yeah, that's why it's very important. We got to be careful how we say things to people. I know that sometimes we want to say and bite back. It's very, very important to be careful because you just don't know. Words cut. It
Oh
cuts.
yeah.
It cuts
He,
just like a knife. It cut. It can cut, and
mhm,
and that's why it's very, very important. We got to be careful how we address anything to anybody.
mhm,
There's a way to solve things if you want to sit down a boundary, some
mhm.
boundaries or anything like that. Yeah, you know, there's a way that you can say it without being offended to somebody else.
Absolutely, absolutely. The way
Just let them
coming.
know, just let them know. Just say, "Oh, right now, I'm sorry. I'm just not feeling right now. This is why I'm
Mhm.
able
That's
to
what I told
speak."
my brother. I said, I'm having a mood swing right now. I gotta go in my room. Is there anything you want? He became, and that made me throw me back, saying he's being kind. Lord, let me know he's being kind. Is there anything you want before you go in that room? Shut up. And it let me know, to thank him. No, but thank you for asking. I asked you. I might want something later. We got to understand that. Me coming from the corporate end all my life and going into, I was working on nonprofits in the corporate area. But when I got on my own coming in here in Vegas, there were some really mean girls. And I'm telling you, they spirit hit on me like I was like I was Marshall Dillon or something. Because I got to be mean. I was real mean. Maybe I was going to menopause through, but I was real mean. And I would cut you just like a knife and think nothing and continue to fight with you. So, he slapped me back into the reality check that people are human and you are going to be in trouble with the Lord. When you see him up in the pearly gates and he say this, he say that, and he got everything written down, don't think he ain't seen you. I had to think, what is my life worth to me? And that's what you think about with lupus. What is your life worth to you? Write down 5 things or 2 things that's important to you. You know, Waking up, breathing, you know. I mean, those things are important to me. And so watch out, ladies, about being mean girls, because that's not going to last. You're going to need somebody to help you. Dolores?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. We don't want to be a mean girl. You don't want to be a mean cat. That we can't be a
Mm-hmm.
mean cat. We got to be a
Mm-hmm.
good cat. I know sometimes we want to slip off that tongue, but we got to be careful. We got to be careful. It's very, very important. I know how you feel if you're frustrated in that. Just go air out for a little bit before you
Mm-hmm.
even speak anything, because
Mm-hmm.
like I said and I mentioned before, that words cut. It's sharper than a knife,
Mm-hmm.
and it's sharper than like a sword too.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It could cut through, it could hurt
Mm-hmm.
somebody, and we don't want to hurt anybody.
Mm-mm. Mm-mm.
We want to make peace.
Mm-hmm.
Like God says
Mm-hmm.
in the Bible, it says in the Bible about being a peacemaker.
Mm-hmm.
That's what
Mm-hmm.
we be.
I remember somebody told me, Dolores. She made it up with me though. I had bought some dinner for some people that came out of town. My brother was with me. No names called, but people do know. And I told her, uh, whatever I've done, just please forgive me. Oh, forgive yourself. She walked away. Just forgive yourself. And I said, that is ridiculous. I said, did she really say that? Then when I saw her again, she became humble, at the dinner table. She was sitting out in the car and a friend said, she's out there. I said, bring her in. She can eat too. Don't keep her out there. That's not right. I don't want to be on the bad list. I need all the points I can. So she came in and, apologies were said and done. And we all had a nice meal. We all had a nice meal. And I felt good because that was off of me, because I was still concerned when she said that to me. When you don't forgive someone, you got that burden on you. When
Exactly.
you when you don't
Exactly.
forgive them, it's not a forgiveness on earth. It's up there, in heaven. Well, you didn't forgive them, so why should I not forgive you? I didn't want to be in that parade. Oh no. Mm-mm.
It's like
No.
yep, Psalms 51, 10. Create in me, O Lord, a clean heart and renew a right spirit within me. So we should always remember that, because our tongues can just really just slip off.
I know.
You know.
I know. I know. I mean, I had a hard time. You know that with my twin brother. Oh, he'd slip at the tongue all the time, fighting with his daughter. I was in the car one day, the SUV, and I threatened to put him out because he said some things to her that was hurtful. She said some things. It didn't amount to. I said, "What are y'all fighting about? That's nothing but hatred, and I don't want the devil riding in the back seat with me. He ain't allowed in this vehicle. And what I will do to you, demonic spirits, to put both y'all out." So they shut up. They shut up. And that's what I do sometimes when I'm in my car by myself or with Nathan, or, usually by my, I say, Satan, get out here in my thoughts. Get out and stop this car and put you out. You in the rock. So that's exactly what I do. Keep your mind clean. Keep your mind clean. I see Ed's trying to come back on here. I'm down. I am. Hello?
Yep, I'm here.
We could talk all night, huh?
Yeah, you guys are great. I enjoyed it. This was great. All right, so as we have getting ready to wrap it up, this is a good conversation. Mr. Lois Olson and Dr. Kevin Williams. Lupus Talks. Again, ladies and gentlemen, we're heading now, as we close out the month of April. We only got one day left, and then after that, March 1st is, of course, Thursday, Lupus Awareness Month, and there's been a lot of inquiries and questions in reference to what they're doing and what's going on. You guys can visit the website at lupusinnevada.org, and you can see all of the activities that's going to be going on. We talked about a virtual walk. We're still ironing that out, so we're going to make sure that we get that out to you all. And any other questions and inquiries that you may have, visit the website and, of course, fill out the form and send that out, and we can reply back to you. But we look forward to sharing and giving out continual information every Tuesday at 2 o'clock Pacific Standard Time, 4 o'clock Central Standard Time, that we're going to be doing this. And we're really thankful for everybody tuning in each week and tuning in and sharing their thoughts and ideas as well. It's a community event thing, and we want to keep it on a community-based level where we're helping as many people who give us the permission to do so. And so with that, Dr. Williams, any final thoughts?
Yeah, I'd like them to subscribe and follow. And one of the things I want to let people know is remember why you started. Now that was some unknown writer that wrote that, and that was that's just prolific for me. Remember why you started, because you can get lost in the walk. You can get lost in the run. Go back and remember why you started.
All right, Dolores?
And I'm going to go back and piggyback from what I said about being a peacemaker, avoid conflicts, make sure you resolve it in the right way, because we want to be peaceful. And also, I'm going to connect with that forgiving, like we was mentioned. Always do that. The more you do that, the more you will grow. You will learn to appreciate, appreciate life, appreciate people, appreciate that we are all only human.
Amen. All right. That's right. That's a wrap, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you again for this edition of Lupus Talks. We'll see you again on next week. And, of course, please keep the dreaming, ladies and gentlemen. Keep the faith and keep moving forward. Y'all have a great afternoon and a great evening. We'll talk to you again.
Bye.
Bye.